I get very hyper-focused and just want to paint, want to write music all day long because they saved my life. They really did.
So,
I've been very, very fortunate to do what I love for a very, very long time.
right, so we're joined here by the lovely Rachael Sage. Welcome to sunny Salford. It's brought its sun out for you today. So,
Aw,
but
you did.
You've been pretty busy, haven't you? Manchester last night.
That's right, yeah.
Birmingham tonight.
Mm-hmm.
London tomorrow.
Exactly. You've been doing your homework.
I know. And jumping back across the pond
Yes.
to finish the year with a few more gigs over that way. So
Exactly, yeah.
busy bee, aren't you?
I try to be. It keeps me out of trouble. But we really, really love coming over here. And I particularly love Manchester, and especially the graffiti all over your beautiful city. I am a visual artist myself as well as a musician, so it makes me feel right at home, like I'm back in the East Village when I walk through your city streets.
Oh, it's a beautiful part of the city over in the northern quarter with all the street art and murals. Did a little research project on that last year.
Oh, really? See,
Yeah.
I could just feel that.
Oh, it's
You were
brilliant.
an art appreciator.
Oh, I love it. It just makes the city something different, doesn't it?
Amen.
Amen to that. Well, early this year we saw your new album, Another Side,
Yes.
reimagined. And it's a reimagining of your 2023 album, The Other Side.
That's right.
What I wanted to know is what's the process like behind that? Was it a case of almost starting again from scratch with the same songs, or was it kind of like a tweaking bits here and there process?
You know, it was entirely starting from scratch, which made it just so much fun because, I love a blank slate. I mentioned that I'm an artist, and I do think of music making akin to painting. So we just had all the colors in the world, and I say we, meaning myself and my engineer, Mikhail Pivovarov, who's brilliant. And the assignment really was just to completely deconstruct the songs and have no rules except that everything be acoustic in some fashion. So we recruited a local mandolin player, Annalise, and a whole bunch of different string players, singers from where I live in upstate New York. And it just felt a lot more loose and also more intimate, kind of like a house concert. So I hope that people can feel that relaxed approach. And also I had shed these tunes so many times on tour in England right before we re-recorded them. So there's that energy as well.
I love it. I love the stripped back sort of vibe. It feels so much more raw and authentic. It helps me connect with you more in a sort of way. But why did you choose this album to reimagine?
Well, you may remember a little thing called lockdown.
Oh, do I?
And, it kind of felt like the apocalypse. And when we first started to reconnect, it was still weird. I mean, it was revelatory. It was wonderful to be in a studio, fully masked, playing 6 feet apart and such, with my band when we finally reunited. But it was still a little weird, a little contained, somewhat surreal. And then as things opened up more and we began to do what we love again and tour and get in front of audiences, which is normally what I do leading up to recording. I always love to try songs first when I'm out on the road and get that feedback and that energy. And it helps me know how to arrange the songs as well. So when my violinist, Kelly Halloran, and I were out on the road in England, the songs they kind of transformed. They took on new meaning and completely different energy. So that's what I really wanted to go back in and capture as the basis for the reimagined recordings.
Oh, 100%. When you said it's captured a new energy, I can feel that through the music. That
good.
makes that makes
The
perfect
energy
sense.
of being among people and the land of the living,
Always
So,
the best thing to do.
Yes, celebratory.
Now, do you mind if we play a little game?
Sure.
Right, so I've clipped up 5 of your songs from your new album.
Ooh,
I know, exciting.
good prep.
I know. And would you like to do a blind ranking? Okay, so I'll play one, and then you've got to rank it 1 through 5, and it stays in that position, but you don't know what the next song is.
Okay, sure.
Okay, a little bit of fun.
Wow.
I know. It's a little bit of fun. So our first song that we've got is this one.
I'll be on the bank by the walnut tree. I hope you will be with me on the other side of this. The other side of.
Okay.
But the other side.
So say the rankings again. High is the best.
High is the
low?
best. One is the best it can be.
Mhm. And there are 5. You said
There are
you're gonna-
5, yeah, but you can't move it once
That's
you lock
all right.
it in.
I'm going to give that a 4.
A 4. Ooh, interesting. That's
Well, I made it the title track so,
Good
for
point.
a reason.
All right, number 2. Here we go.
All I needed was the love you gave. All I needed for another day.
Oh, this is tough. Well, I didn't write this beautiful song. This is by Vince Clarke. It's a Yazoo song, Only You. So, I can't claim any credit for it. It would be 6 if you had it. I just love it so
Ooh.
because I wanted to record it because I didn't write it and thought it was so brilliant. That being said, it's not my song. So maybe I give it a 3 just because I can't really claim it.
No worries. Absolutely beautiful version of it, though, I must say.
Thank you.
I
Well,
love
that
that
is our
one.
current single.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Oh, glad you like it.
Right, here we go. Here's next.
Nothing seems to take the place of fire.
Sure. Unequivocally, I would put this at number 5.
Really?
Well, I'll tell you why. When I first recorded it on the other side with the rocked up band, I was very connected to the moment when I wrote it, and the groove is up tempo, but the lyrics are kind of bleak. And so I relished the chance to reapproach it, and now it feels very happy and lighthearted and determined, and I just, I really have a lot of fun playing it live.
I like that. So we've got positions 1 and 2 left. So we're looking for a big finish. Here we go.
I love a high-heeled shoe, darling. I love.
Aww. Can I do a do-over? No. I would say a tie for 5, but I got to put it at 2 now because I wasn't thinking clearly. That's a song that I wrote with my dad, No Regrets, and I really love playing this one live, especially on this current tour with Hue and Cry. We're having a lot of fun with that.
Oh, it's such a beautiful,
thank
beautiful
you.
track. And final one going in at number 1.
Everything underneath.
Okay, sure, Albatross. I think that's fitting because I love the song and, I really enjoyed recording it, but it is very introspective and kind of melancholic. So given that it's such a sunny day today, it's okay for that to be number 1.
I like that very much. Now, have you got another favourite track that isn't one of those 5 on the most recent record?
That's a great question. Well, maybe Whistle Blow.
Whistle Blow.
Yeah, that's a song about having boundaries, and just really sticking to them and not taking any crap from anyone. And I think as a woman, especially right now in my home country, that's something to which we're all going to be clinging, and hopefully, some new resolve and determination can come out of that and create a brighter future for us.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I know.
Well, can you take me back to a younger you and go through who were your musical influences that set you up on the road to where you are today?
I love that question. Well, I'm really just a student of everything. So I first started out learning to play by ear from classical piano as a ballet dancer. And that was like from the age of 4 or 5. I would come home every day after ballet class and just play all of that music by ear. I didn't even know what I was hearing. I didn't know it was Bach or Mozart or Scarlatti. I just would sound it out. So that was sort of the first breakthrough I had. And then this may be a cliche, especially because I'm in the UK, but the Beatles were massive for me. And, I didn't know much about their whole, story or how, important they were culturally speaking, but my dad would play their records all the time, and then that kind of segued into a lot of other music from the 50s and 60s, and those were really the eras that influenced my songwriting the most. Then we got into the 70s and Carole King, and Lauren Nero, James Taylor, Cat Stevens. So I've always been kind of a retro gal. And then somewhere along the way, I became obsessed with Elvis Costello, and he's still my number one.
Oh, I love that. Now, I'm a big music fan, music nerd, play guitar. Apparently, I'm a serial shower singer, according to my flatmates. But
I love that.
Can you take me back to the first time that you picked up a guitar?
Well, honestly, keyboard is my main instrument. So I started playing piano when I was 2.5. And legend has it that my mom took me to see the Broadway show, Oklahoma, and I came home and I played the score by ear on the piano, but not in like a, completely brilliant way. I was sort of tapping it out with one finger on the piano, but nonetheless, it was an indicator to everyone in my family that I was to be musical. And they were kind of confused because no one in my family sings or plays, but very encouraging. And I didn't really pick up guitar until my 20s, so I took my time with that, and I'm still learning every day.
Oh, it's the best way to be.
Absolutely.
Do you remember how you felt before your first ever live show?
Wow, that might be one of the best questions I've ever gotten. I mean, I think I felt this combination of the butterflies in my stomach and just the good kind of nerve-wracked, where you feel like you're on a tightrope. You don't know what's going to happen. And it's just a little magical, a little otherworldly. And you kind of have to give it up to fate and the muses and, circumstance, and then just have faith that something you do will resonate.
And then it's all ended up and it's worked out perfectly, hasn't it?
I've been very, very fortunate to do what I love for a very, very long time.
Now, I hope you don't mind me asking, but you're all right if we go back to 2018 and
Sure.
talk about your battle with cancer?
Absolutely.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were just coming off the back of a pretty mega tour. You're just about to release a new album, and it was starting to look like one of those happy primary school paintings, sunshine in the corner with his smiley face on.
You're not wrong, yeah.
And just on the fly, you got a reminder to go get tested and went and did so.
Yeah, you really, really did your homework on this. Wow, it's true. Yeah, that is how it happened. I, got a reminder from my insurance, to go
Yeah.
check my lady business. And, they didn't find it right away. It was a couple weeks later, literally a message from Planned Parenthood. Goddess bless them, because they saved my life. They really did. And, they left a message on my machine and they said, we found something concerning. Call us back right away, and you will want to schedule another appointment with a specialist in this realm. And within a week, I was, getting other tests, and it came back positive for uterine cancer. So to all my ladies out there, I just want to encourage you really to keep up with those appointments every year. I had skipped a couple years, and I would have found it earlier. So I don't beat myself up about that, but I like to also just remind us to take care of ourselves. And, we only get one magical, I don't know what the word would be, magical tour bus in this lifetime that carries our spirit, and just love it and take care of it and be mindful. And don't be afraid. I think that's the key, is that when you catch cancer early, there are so many amazing options now and wonderful specialists. And, I kind of caught mine in the middle. So I definitely am very, very lucky to be here with you playing music.
And we found out that you are a super creative person. You are.
That's true.
You are a doer.
Creativity is my religion, I would say.
But did this time in 2018, did it kind of shackle you down? Or did you find a way to kind of work through it?
The brakes just were pumped immediately. But what I will say on a positive note is that all of that hyper focus and that energy, that kind of like CEO, independent record label energy that I had refined through the years, doing art, doing music, putting my creativity out in the world. I'm really grateful that I had that type of focus And I really just kind of switched gears, and I learned everything I could as quickly as I could about my type of cancer. And the human mind is a mysterious thing, but I did doom Google for a bit, and then I realized that's not the way to go. You try to find the team that you trust and go with your gut, your instinct, and especially as a woman in our society, there are going to be male medical staff who try to kind of push you to do things you're not comfortable with. It's likely to happen, especially with women's cancer. And I just want to again encourage everyone to trust themselves, to be kind to themselves, get another opinion if you need it, and then I think what's best for you most of all.
The whole experience of that, it led to what I think is your most moving and powerful album.
Oh my goodness,
Character.
thank you.
Musically, vocally, and lyrically, it's just such a beautiful piece of art. Is the best way of describing it.
Well, that's very kind and generous of you. Thank you.
And and then that album was released.
Yes.
I
did that. I recorded that a year after recovering. I definitely needed some time.
Yeah.
But then I was able to put all those feelings and emotions into another batch of tunes. And when I was ready to do it, I was really ready. And, it's kind of that feeling like when you've survived a plane crash. I think you feel a little bit impervious, and you do feel like you're walking on water, and you're aware of just how fortunate you are and how much you should enjoy the process of just living and being with loved ones. So I really tried to pour my heart into that record, and I'm so glad you enjoyed it.
It's such a beautiful record. And you were starting to take it on tour.
Yes.
When the whole world decided that something was going to happen in early 2020. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head.
Oh, boy.
And then
Little thing beginning with a C and ending with a D. Yes.
Yeah, that COVID thing.
Mm-hmm.
But how did the pandemic affect you as an artist?
Well, I think as a cancer survivor, oddly, I felt like I was armed in a certain way to withstand a lot of stress because I had refined a lot of my modalities of how to deal with stress, and literally to save my life. Cortisol is like bad for cancer, so I learned how to meditate. I learned how to eat healthy to protect my, my mind, my body. And so I felt like, I was able to nurture others around me, to maintain connections, even though we were far flung. And I was, grateful for that silver lining. But, it was a very, very difficult time. I also lost loved ones to COVID very quickly in the pandemic. And, what can you do but try to bond together with people you love and fellow artists and just kind of take it in. And especially as a writer, I do feel like part of my job is to keep my fingers on the pulse of how are people feeling, what's going on in the world, and certainly with the social political landscape in America at the time, that now is oddly reminiscent of now. It was a lot to take in, a lot to reflect on, meditate on, and I will say that doing weekly live streams, playing music on Facebook was a real lifesaver for me to just stay connected to everyone else.
Oh, I love that. Music is always the answer, isn't it?
Always. Absolutely. A man after my own heart.
And we're just so happy that you are still here, releasing your music.
Thank you.
Thriving.
Me too.
And we've seen you recently supporting Will Young, Hue and Cry. But who are your dream 3 artists to go on tour and support?
Well, I just want to get a little love in for those artists too. We are out with Hue and Cry, and they're just fabulous. Love their music, love their shows. And Will, we just adore him. He's the kindest guy and so hilarious. So that has been a dream situation. Earlier this year, we toured with Lulu. And then Howard Jones, I will just say, has been such an incredible person to support and to learn from. I grew up with his poster on my wall, so that's been a dream come true. But in terms of the future, I always like to throw it out in the universe. I would be honored and just so thrilled to ever get to meet, let alone tour with Elvis Costello or collaborate in some capacity. So we'll just throw that dart out into the universe.
See if it lands.
Yeah, and then just a handful of other artists that I regularly muse, about what it would be like to tour with them or just to meet them. Carole King, of course. I love Fiona Apple. I think she's absolutely brilliant. And Hozier is one of my very favorite artists.
I love a bit of Hozier now and then.
Oh, yeah.
So you've released, is it 16 albums now?
16 original full-length albums, and then a handful of kind of reworked acoustic albums as well, yeah.
That's incredible. And you've also set up your own record label.
Yes.
Empress Records. And your official title is now President and Art Director, which is, it just sounds like fun. But what does that include?
Well, it's funny that you saw the title on our record label website. Well, tomorrow I could change my mind and just call myself, arts and crafts, whatever. But, I did found the label, and I founded it initially to release my own work. And then as the years went by, I couldn't resist wanting to support and amplify some fellow independent artists, starting with the brilliant Seth Gleer, whose debut album actually was nominated for a Grammy. And then we've gone on to sign artists including Melissa Farrick, Grace Pettis, James Mastro. So it's been a real adventure, and I've had the luxury of making a zillion mistakes, falling flat on my face in all realms, and then learning from those mistakes, being able to own them, and to work with just a wonderful team of, like-minded individuals. So it's been a very up and down roller coaster adventure, but just grateful to be able to release positive music by really innovative artists.
I love that. You do it all, singer, writer, producer, musician, poet, artist, dancer.
But I don't do things I don't like, so there's a lot that I suck at. Don't ask me to drive. Don't ask me to do anything handy,
But you are genuinely one of the most creative people I've ever met.
Oh, my goodness. Well, thank you very much.
All I have to ask is,
sure,
is how? How do you do it?
Well, I kind of hinted at it a couple minutes ago. So, I am ADHD, and I think when I find things I enjoy doing, I can kind of hyper-focus on them. So I might go, 10 hours and not get up from, sitting on the couch wrestling with writing a couple songs, and then forget to eat and forget to take a walk. And I actually have to really work hard at reminding myself to take care of my body, take care of my mind, call my parents, connect with my friends, and just kind of find that balance between being a functional human being and paying the bills and, staying in shape and being creative. I think if left to my own devices completely, and this has gotten me into trouble, I get very hyper-focused and just want to paint, want to write music all day long, and that's fun, but you can't always do that. So I guess that's how I do it. I have no other choice, and it's just the way my brain is. What can I say?
Sure. I think I myself, and I think loads of people will find that super inspiring, that you're using your ADHD as almost like a superpower to go out there and create.
I've heard that word thrown around on the interweb, and I do think it is important to remember that a lot of these names for qualities that we have are so new. They're so recent, and who knows how so much art, music, film, dance has been created and expressed. And I'm sure there are so many, neurodivergent types of people who have reveled in the process in their way without considering it to be an obstacle. So I think what becomes the obstacle is the mandate to grow up and be a normal person like other people, and comparative aspect of how we are relative to each other.
That's fabulous. And I've got one more question
Sure.
for you. What is next down the line for our Rachael Sage?
Well, when I head back home across the pond, I am going to get back into the album that I started a few months ago. And I do already have a title for it. Why don't I just share that with you? I'll just
Go
throw
for it.
caution to the wind. It's going to be called Canopy. And I love that title because it is the title track, but it's also a word that really connotes inclusivity and shelter and protection. And I do always feel that each one of us has the ability to offer that to others. So I'm just going to lean as hard as I can into that metaphor.
Oh, super excited you've teased us now.
Thank you.
That's brilliant. Well, thank you so much for coming to see
My
us and speak to
absolute
us
pleasure.
today.
Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you.